We missed audience questions last week because of the tech disaster during the Las Vegas conference. We successfully broadcast from one of three planned days. First question today is from Taylor. Taylor says, should we lower the age of consent from 18? How low should it go? 16? 14? There's no set answer to this question. We've talked before. What can we say specifically about age of consent or minimum ages to do things? We've talked about the drinking age being 21, while the smoking age to buy cigarettes is 18. Does that make sense? When there is something called drinking in moderation that is not harmful to health, while there is nothing called smoking in moderation that is not harmful to health and to those around you. So why is it 18 to smoke and 21 to drink? Why is it 21 to drink, but 18 to be charged as an adult and sentenced to death by the criminal justice system in states that have the death penalty? We've talked about those inconsistencies. Now, with the age of consent with regard to sex and statutory rape, etc., there's nothing scientific about age 18, and we see age of consent vary in different countries and even in different states. So I am not a scientist such that I can say with certitude that age of consent should be 16, 17, 18, 19, whatever. I think that science can go a long way, Lewis, to telling us at what point is someone mature enough to have informed consent with regard to sexual activity, and there would probably be a sort of range of opinion there. So I don't know that it should necessarily be lower than 18, but I think there's definitely something to questioning why is it that here it's 18 and there it's 16, and what should it really be? And in some countries it's way lower than that, which generally speaking we aren't on board with.
Yeah, I think that it's okay to keep it at 18 and say if someone is under 18, now we have a process or a system to determine if they should be treated as if they were 18 or older. That's what we should have. And in many cases, you have these ridiculous situations where an 18-year-old might be involved with a 17-year-old, ends up getting, becoming a sex offender because some parent is upset, and a situation that should never happen.
So there's sort of two sets. There's two sets of questions here, right? One is, what should the legal framework around age of consent be? And I generally agree with you, Lewis, that if you have a 15-year-old having sex with a 50-year-old, if the age of consent is 18, that's very clearly statutory rape, even if the 15-year-old thinks that they consented, because we've determined a 15-year-old has not developed in a way that they can really have informed consent about having sex with a 45-year-old. A 17-year-old and a 19-year-old is a very different scenario. And how can we make the law address that issue differently? Just saying if one person's 18 or older and someone else is not yet 18, that is identical to someone being 12 and 50. That is a problem from a legal perspective. Separately, there's the scientific question of what are we really looking for when we're talking about when age of consent should be granted, and where is that determination? And I would not be surprised, Lewis, if this was as much nurture as it was nature. Depending on the social context around you, you could make a case that although age of 18 might make sense from like a broader scientific perspective, developmental perspective, that you could have societal sheltering or societal factors that make it so that in some places, by age 18, the emotional maturity is not even there. And maybe it should be 21 in those societies. Or you could have the opposite, where you could say, listen, scientifically, developmentally, age of consent probably makes sense somewhere between 16 and 19. In this particular society, it's probably closer to 16 than it is 19. I'm not making any particular claim with regard to any particular society, but the main point, the main takeaway is 18 is certainly arbitrary to a great degree.
Yes, we can't just say we can have that number on paper and it can serve a purpose, but there has to be a way to treat those who are under that number as adults, as if they were that age. So let's come up with a way to do that.